Do you know what? In science, being wrong is an important step to eventually being right. So, when I was in school, science was just how the world worked. Like, if you threw a ball with a certain amount of force at a certain angle, it should go this certain distance. Or, if you took oxygen and hydrogen atoms, they combine in a certain ratio when they form water molecules. Or, if you bred pea plants with certain coloured flowers, you'd be able to see a specific pattern in the flower colours of their offspring. Because this is science class. This is the magic of reality and the grandeur of nature. This is just how things work. So while this can be a super effective way of teaching people about all the fun things we know about our universe, there can be some problems with this approach. One of the big ones is that it really resonates with insufferable ratbags who love to be right. And as the world's most insufferable ratbag who loves to be right, I can promise you this is true. But sometimes, I wonder how many truly gifted people noped out of science because the other ratbags and I made them feel like science wasn't for them. And given that scientific research is a team sport, this is a big loss for everyone. But now that I've been doing science for a while, the thing that really stands out to me is that science isn't just the way that the world works. It's also the way that we figure all this stuff out. So I think one of the more worrying issues is that in presenting science as this near perfect understanding of the world, it overlooks all the times we were wrong about stuff. And right now, I reckon science does provide a pretty accurate representation of our beautiful and complex world. And yeah, I know people like Einstein said things like,
"All our science measured against reality is primitive and childlike, and yet it is the most precious thing we have."
And you know what? Fair enough. I can understand that the physicists grappling with the huge questions of life, the universe, and everything might feel like our understanding is a bit on the primitive side. But for me, as a simple biologist, all I can think is that when Einstein was born, the life expectancy in Europe was barely more than 40. And if I was getting close to that number, I'd probably feel this way too. While there's a bunch of stuff we still don't understand, using the scientific method to figure out things has given us a pretty good grasp of the world. We've been able to feed more people than ever before, develop treatments for diseases that were fatal an uncomfortably short time ago, and, more importantly, build the infrastructure so that people all over the world can appreciate how cute my dog is. But here's the thing. Science only got to this level of understanding because we figured out how to be wrong in the right way. And hold up, before you go and launch something down in the comment section, I don't want you to think that this is a secret code saying that I believe bush turkeys aren't real, or that frog people are secretly putting soy into dietary supplements, or that Bluey's dad is bad actually. No. Vaccines are good, climate change is real, and Bandit is clearly a very good dog. So the thing that makes science so special is that if new evidence comes out, and it definitively shows us that something we thought was right is actually wrong, we change our minds. Like, if new evidence came out and it definitively showed that the Earth was flat, even though we'd be super embarrassed for all the times we poked fun at the flat earthers, we'd change our tune and we'd start thinking about what living on a flat Earth actually meant and how we might be able to use these new insights to make things better. Putting aside the need for a new scientific model that is able to recontextualize all the evidence that previously indicated the Earth wasn't flat, the core thing this example does is to highlight that we're able to admit that we were wrong and move on to the next thing. It doesn't matter if we spend a long time learning about the old theory, or if we have a lot riding on the old theory being correct, or if we carried on like pork chocks and told everyone that the alternative theory was super dumb and we're now very embarrassed. We'd change our minds, even if it sucks, even if it hurts, even if we just don't want to do it. We admit that we're wrong. And because of it, science becomes a little bit better at describing the world around us. And overall, we get a little bit more right. I've met a couple of guys who think admitting that they're wrong will somehow make them less of a man. And usually I try to make an effort to understand people, but this is something I just don't get.
Well, see, if I admit I'm wrong, everyone is suddenly going to realise that I'm not a man. And I'm actually just a very tall ibis.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I always suspected something was up. Most people aren't that enthusiastic about bin night.